that I can just really feel it. But there's some things I need to work on first so I can be able to control the weight a lot better than what I have. So I'm headed to the gym and I'm thinking, what am I going to do today? A lot of times when I go to the gym, I don't necessarily know what I'm gonna do or how I'm gonna work out or what muscles to target. And we all have had days. We've all had days or weeks or cycles where we kind of freestyle. Right now, I'm freestyling. Then we got our phases where we are a little bit more structured. Just right now, I'm in the freestyle phase because it helps me just open my mind up to different variations and just get creative with certain combinations. But anywho, rear delts and biceps will be the target today. And I've been noticing that since I've really been targeting those two muscle groups, I would say for the past 8 to 12 months, seriously, that I've increased my bench press without having to solely bench press. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that I don't bench press or to not bench press. That is not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is there's other ways to get to a destination. There's other muscle groups that you can focus on to increase the strength of another muscle group because all primary muscle groups have assisted muscle groups, right? And so what I'm talking about right now is strengthening the assisted muscle groups. Now, when you bench press, you need grip strength, right, to hold the bar. Um, your wrists can be flimsy, and everybody's different. That's what wrist wraps are for. I've never worn wrist wraps; they were uncomfortable for me at the time. Um, so, just with that being said, for a while my grip was kind of flimsy. So, I've noticed my grip strength was off. My overall, what I'm saying, your forearms, your grip strength, how you grip the bar, how tight you have to grip the bar. And if you can't grip the bar tight enough, then that may be because of your forearms. My left forearm was just very, 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 very weak. At one point in time, it was very, very weak. And it's getting stronger. And I've noticed since it's got stronger, I've increased my bench press. I've increased the strength. I've increased just overall confidence in there too. That's another thing when you bench press. You got to have confidence when you're under the weight. This is not being naive. This is not being, arrogant. You just have to be confident in weight. Like even if it's 135, you bench press on 135. You still got to be confident enough to know that I can press this weight, once, 10 times, 20 times, or what may have you. I'm not saying when you get under a weight that you've never touched before to have that same confidence. It's like yes, but it's like you gotta know that you've worked up to that point. Is what I'm getting to. And a lot of times when we're working up to these points, there's different stop points or different checkpoints that we have to check off before we end up at our destination. So my destination is a 405 pounds bench press. A couple weeks ago, I did 365 on the flat, for one rep. Many people say I should have had a spotter, but I was confident in that weight. And the video that is up, that was actually like my second set. And my first set, I honestly believe in my heart of hearts, if I would have had a spotter, I would have did too. Now, that's been a long time developing to even do that because I was stuck at 315 for maybe about 3 or 4 reps. My goal is to get 10, but I've broken the 7 rep mark and I've broken, yeah, that's the seven mark, 7 reps at 315. But in order for me to do that, I had to strengthen my sister muscles, which biceps and also my rear delts. I sleep on my shoulder a lot. So, for a while, my left side was just not strong, nor was my left, triceps. And I realized when I was bench pressing, I was pressing so much from my right side that I was giving no power to my left side. And so, realizing that my left side was not as strong as my right side, I started to focus, start to isolate. I started to isolate muscle groups, rear delts and biceps because I needed grip strength and I needed my shoulder to get stronger. I needed my front delts, front shoulders. People call them anterior deltoids. But what I discovered in order to get that stronger, I had to focus on my rear delts. And once I started focusing on my rear delts and focusing on bicep strength, my bench press went up. And it does not have to be like heavyweight. No doubt I'm all for heavyweight. No doubt I'm all for more weight. But when it's a muscle group you haven't trained, or more so haven't focused on, that's the word. If you haven't focused on that muscle group in so long, it's okay to start light. It is really okay to start light, because as much as I want to throw on some 50-pound dumbbells and curl them, I'm like, that's not purpose. Because prior to that, how I did bicep curls, my form wasn't the best from the standpoint of what I know now. I should have focused more on the stretch versus the contraction. Don't get me wrong, you can focus on both, but when you're only focused on one, I was focused more on the contraction versus the stretch. And you have to be careful, because you don't want to, overextend or hyperextend that muscle group or that muscle, because I've seen some bicep tears where people try to go too heavy too quick, um, and without stretching. So I've learned with my biceps, the best way for at least like 2 months was to focus more on stretching the muscle to strengthen it, or flip flop it, strengthen the muscle through stretching. And when I started to realize that, I'm like, man, I don't want to say I was taught wrong, but when you just learn something new, it's like, oh man, this is just so simple. Um, in regards to theory, and it's one of those things. So when you know you couldn't have discovered it, or I could not have discovered it if I wasn't freestyling, or if I wasn't just open to think differently. And you have to think differently when you are, working out, on your fitness journey, and not be so boxed into what social media says, what um, you know this trainer says, or even some things that I may say. I am giving you what I am learning in the moment. Some may be formulated thoughts, some may not be, some may not be. But it's like reporting in real time. So in real time, I'm noticing, since I started to strengthen and focus more on my rear delts and strengthening my biceps, that my bench press has increased. Um, Not saying that it's just those two muscles that are, the all the end all, but those were two muscle groups that I knew I wasn't, the strongest at, and that was affecting me. You can do a workout, or um, exercise or whatever, and you start to realize where you're weak at. There's no problem in letting yourself know where you are weak at, or let's start being nice to ourselves and say where we can be stronger at. There's some areas in our life where we are just not as strong in as others, and put it like that, versus saying, "Oh, I'm weak." It's like, I'm just stronger in another category versus this one. So Alpha Kenny Body, like, okay, cool, cool, cool. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for tuning in, Soccer King. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. I'm not going to be too long, because I'm getting ready to head into the gym right now. But as the title says, increase your bench press without bench pressing. You can increase. Let's just say, even if it's a squat. Yes, you still have to squat more to get stronger at your squat, obviously. But there are other assister muscles that help with the squat, all right? Just like with bench press. To get stronger at bench pressing, you bench press, right? Bench press. That's all I do. Bench press. I'm gonna say that's all I do. But in regards to bench pressing, you want to make sure that you're working your assisted muscles too. Your rear delts, because that's going to control the weight, or help stabilize the weight as it's coming down on the eccentric, right? Biceps are very, very, very important in your bench press, because it helps and assists with the grip strength of the bar, as far as, so make sure you're squeezing the bar. But just with that being said, didn't want to be on here for too long. I appreciate you tuning in. I got some new pictures coming. Check my community wall. I got a new setup that I'm working on for more of these lives and more of my newly updated podcast setup. So hope you have a great day and just hit me up in the comment section. Peace out.